You're listening to the Prosperity Report Love and Money podcast. Find out what every couple needs to become a winning team in love and money. We bring you actionable ideas from expert therapists and experienced married couples, helping you stay happily married longer. Stay tuned until the end. We'll leave you with a tip you can start using today in our 5-minute activation segment. Now here's your host, best-selling author, speaker, and psychotherapist, Kanae Corder.
Hey there, guys. Welcome to the show. Today's going to be a little bit different. In fact, this whole month is going to be a little bit different because this is Domestic Violence Awareness Month. And for those of you who've been listening to me for a little while, you may know that I support Allstate Foundation's Purple Purse campaign. And it's all about financial abuse, which is associated with domestic violence. So this show is going to tell you more about Allstate Foundation's Purple Purse campaign. It'll tell you more about why I decided that that would be my platform. I'll tell you more about my story. And then I'll tell you how you can help, just in case you're curious. And of course, we'll end with our 5-minute activation and our sponsor for today. So let's get into today's show. I'll tell you first about Allstate's Foundation Purple Purse, but I warn you, I may cry through this episode, maybe because of some of the things I've seen, but also some of the things I've seen prevented, because Allstate Foundation's Purple Purse is all about financial abuse. So one of the things you hear when it comes to domestic abuse is just leave. But the number one reason domestic violence victims can't just leave is because they're being abused financially. They're stuck. They have no money. They have no job. They have no family, and usually no place to go. So when you have no choice, at least feels like no choice, you stay. This is why I support Allstate Foundation's Purple Purse, because this gives victims choices. This helps them build their lives. And even if when they leave, they feel like they have nothing, when they get to or go through this program, they then begin to build so that they have something and that they never have to go back. Because also understand that many times they do leave, but because they're not financially stable, they end up going back. 99% of all domestic violence cases include financial abuse. That is how abusers keep their victims trapped. Now, because of that, over 3 million children experience or witness domestic violence each year. So not only is the victim themselves being abused and being scarred, but the children are also being scarred. And a lot of times these scars are unseen, but they never really heal properly because they're unseen. And these children can go on to get in abusive relationships themselves or can become abusers, whether they're male or female, because all abusers aren't male. And yes, sure, the majority are male, but there are female abusers as well. There's so many different types of abuse. There's financial abuse, physical abuse, emotional, mental, even spiritual abuse. So this episode is probably going to be really heavy, but it will be impactful, I promise. I'll give you as much information as I can on what I've learned so far, but I welcome you to share your story or any information you can with me. Find me on Instagram at KanaeCorder.com/Instagram. Check the show notes, or just go to Instagram and look for Kanae Corder. I'll be there. And you can send me a DM with any information you have or with your story. I love to hear it. Because what we're doing is we're raising money for Allstate's Purple Purse Foundation. And I am going to tell you at the end, if you'd like, how you can help me do that. So I said that over 3 million children are exposed to domestic violence because of financial abuse, because victims cannot leave. And I want you to understand that you'll be surprised who has this story. Like I have this story. I was one of those children exposed to domestic violence, exposed to abuse. Now, I wasn't abused as much as I can remember. I don't ever remember my father hitting me, but I do recall him hitting my mother. Now, I want to explain something. If you've ever heard me in the past say my mom and dad, I'm referring to my stepfather, which I typically don't call my stepfather. I just say my dad. In this story, however, during this podcast, when you hear me say my father, I'm referring to my biological father. So I really want to make sure to differentiate that, because my mom is married to my dad now and they did not experience domestic abuse. As far as I can remember, one day my father and my mom got into an argument. The way that I remember it is that he was able to get her paycheck from her office. This was before direct deposit and all of that. I think you went and picked up your check, and I think he was able to pick it up. And so he picked up the check before my mom could. And this was his way of controlling the money, but also controlling her. And I remember them getting into a big fight about it. I was really young, maybe 3 or 4. And I remember him hitting her. And I kind of remember him putting one of those iron skillets up to her head or neck or face or something and saying that he would bash her head in. And I remember my sister and I being really little, because even as kids, we were short. So we had a dime, and this was when phone calls were a dime. And we said we were going to go and call the police. When we knew we had to leave the house, we couldn't do it from the house. So we had our dime and we were going to go call the police. But the lock was too high on the door for us to reach. So we couldn't get out. And we felt so powerless that we couldn't help our mom at that time. And we knew she needed help. And she wasn't a weak, she was a really strong woman. So to see her in this way was heartbreaking. And we stayed, and he promised he wouldn't do anything like that again. And maybe she believed him, maybe she didn't. I don't know. But we stayed. And of course, it happened again. Now, one of the things that happens with domestic violence cases is that a lot of times the abusers separate the victims from their family, their friends. They keep them isolated so they have no one to call. They keep them separated from the money. Like I said, my father went to go pick up my mom's check so that he could control the money. Maybe that was his intention. Maybe it was the subconscious. I don't know. And we've since talked about it. We do have a relationship, and he is clean because some of his actions were due to his drug abuse. So I don't know why, and I'm not even going to try and figure it out. Who cares? There's meaning in this story. I don't have to know why. I don't have to have that insight in order to heal. I can heal just by knowing that there's meaning, because now I have a platform and a foundation that I can support so that little kids don't have to experience what I experienced, that women don't have to experience what my mom experienced. And even the men who are going through domestic violence don't have to experience that, because through Allstate Foundation's Purple Purse, I can empower them, or at least do my part too. So going back to the story, we stayed, and of course, it happened again. And the way that I remember it is that I remember him slapping my mom. And my mom is a very dark woman. And even with her beautiful dark skin, you could still see this handprint on her face. And I remember her holding her face. And I remember me and my brother and my sister, seeing her crying and just feeling like, oh my gosh, what is happening? And again, she's a very happy woman. Forget about being strong. She's just a very happy woman. She's like one of the sweetest young women you'll ever meet. Like, you know how old women are sweet? Well, my mom is sweet like that, but she's not old. So she's like one of those people that always sees the silver lining. She's always happy, like super sweet, very feminine, like has this finesse about her. I often say she will never beat you, but she will always win. She's just really cool like that. You would appreciate so many things about her. Now, I'll also tell you about my biological father. He's a really cool guy, plays a bunch of instruments, incredibly talented, and even on drugs, he can have an intelligent conversation because that is how genius he is. But that genius drove him to a place where he was unbearable to be around. So my brother and sister and I, we cried with my mom, and she decided that wasn't going to happen to her again. And so she packed all of our clothes into laundry bags. And she told my father that we were going to my grandmother's house to do laundry. And she packed all the clothes, I mean, all the clothes, into these laundry bags and filled them up. And he said, we have that many dirty clothes? He knew that that looked a bit obsessive, but because I think he might have been high at the time, he didn't even pay attention. So she took all the bags, and in my mind, there were 3 bags full of clothes. Don't know if that's exactly the way the story happens, because I want you to understand these are my memories. And, you know, the brain is fleeting and it doesn't always give you all the information. So keep in mind, this is my version of the story. My brother, my sister, my dad, my mom might have a different version. And as humans, we're never all going to have the same story. So I want you to understand that. And so we pack the clothes in the car and we go to my grandmother's house. And my grandparents accept my mom in with open arms, of course. And I think she tells them the story. And they say, no, you don't have to go back. You can stay here and the kids can stay here and we'll be fine and we'll figure something out. And so that's what happened. And later that night, my father called and he said, when are you coming home? And my mom said, we're not. Now, right about then, I'm sure my father was freaking out and having a fit and probably punching things. I don't know. I wasn't there. But I can imagine it didn't matter because my mom was safe. She was safe with her mom and her dad. She was safe knowing that on Monday morning that she could go to work and get a new check and pay her bills and take care of her children. But that is not always the case. Not everybody has a job like my mom did. Not everybody has a family to run to like my mom did. Not everybody has a bank account even to put money into like my mom did. She also has self-esteem and confidence. So she didn't get into this situation because she wasn't a confident woman. She got into this situation because she wanted to leave a strict family. My grandfather was abusive. Now, I don't know if he was physically abusive, but I do know that he was emotionally and verbally abusive. I don't know if he was that way to my mom, but he was that way to us grandchildren. So I imagine he probably was. And she doesn't talk about it much because she doesn't have to, because she has a news story now. And that's the other side of this. We don't have to talk about it because our story changes. And for that reason, it's hard to heal. It's hard to cure this because not everybody is talking about it. Because once you get out of it and you have your new story, no reason to tell that victim story. It wasn't easy for me to tell this story because it's kind of not even really my story, but I felt like it was a part of it at least. And I definitely want to protect the other people involved, my biological father, even my dad, my mom, of course, it's her story. And my sister and brother, like we've all experienced domestic violence in a different way, but that's their story. So how they experienced what happened to us as children, they probably have a version, like I said earlier, and I have a version. And anyways, I'm including them in this story. So I have to be gentle and safe that I don't exploit them by telling my story. And so maybe that's what holds us back from telling a story. We don't want to hurt the other people involved. Maybe we feel some shame around it because I can say I did. And I felt shame for my mom that she even had to experience that because she is an incredible woman and she didn't have to experience that, but she did. And because of it, it made her who she was. It made her who she is today. It probably added to her confidence, added to her self-esteem, added to her power. But at the same time, it added to who me, my brother, and my sister are today. Because there is no way that I will experience that because I saw what my mom went through. And anytime I was anywhere close to what I thought might be an abusive relationship, I was quick to get out of there because I knew you stay, this doesn't change, this gets worse. This just gets worse. And you know how I knew? Because I watched it. And over 3 million children, just like me, are watching domestic abuse happen. And they're hearing the screams. They're feeling powerless. And I'm sorry. They're feeling powerless because they can't help. They can't help their mother or even their dad. They can't even help themselves. And if they were as young as I was when this happened, that is lodged in their brain. Because between 0 and 3 years old, you probably heard me say this before, 75% of our beliefs are set in place between 0 and 3 years old. And 95% are in place by age 15. And right around age 7, we solidify that interpretation of life. So me, my brother, my sister, we were solidifying what this meant in our lives and how this was going to play out. Now, that doesn't mean we can't heal from it. Sure, we can. I am. My mom is. My sister is. My brother is. Even my biological father is healing. And I say healing because it's a process. It doesn't happen overnight. And it's been a long process for us because my father was on drugs for a very long time. And it took him a very long time to find his way. But he eventually found it. And he's gotten out. He's no longer on Skid Row. He has his own place. So there is a happy ending to this story. I mean, you know me. I am in the world and helping others heal. I don't specialize in my practice in domestic violence. It's my work that I do outside of my practice. It's what I do as my cause. It's what I do to give back. And I don't even feel like it's giving back. It's just giving. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. So maybe right now you're wondering how you can help. And I have a way. I'll tell you what I'm doing and maybe you can join me. I have a resource called Prosperity Club. And if you don't already know, Prosperity Club is courses, coaching, accountability, and retreats set up mostly for couples, but individuals as well, to help them grow, learn, get on the path to happiness, stay on the path to happiness, take the stress out of financial decisions, take the stress out of many of life's complex challenges. That is what the Prosperity Club does. My mission in life is to relieve the pain in the world, however I can do that. And right now I do that using financial therapy. So Prosperity Club it's like a virtual financial therapy course. If we just talk about just the Prosperity Club, where you get virtual coaching, courses, accountability, and support. You can later upgrade to one-on-one or go to one of our retreats, but just first think about joining the Prosperity Club. It's $97 and $5 of a Prosperity Club membership is going to go to Allstate Foundation's Purple Purse. So you will receive weekly coaching. You'll receive courses monthly and monthly accountability for only $97. And Allstate Foundation Purple Purse campaign will receive $5 for every single Prosperity Club membership. And I'm going to match it. So they'll receive $10, which means there's a kid out there that's not going to have to experience domestic violence. There's a victim out there that can leave before the children experience it, that can leave maybe even before she has children with a domestic violence abuser. They can leave the moment they realize they've made the wrong decision to stay. They can leave and get therapy, get a job, get clothing, have shelter. Your Prosperity Club membership can do all that, can help you or a couple you love. It may not even be purchased for you. You can purchase it for somebody else. It can help you, someone you love, the foundation, and some victim who will no longer be a victim, but a survivor because of what you're doing, what we are doing today. So if you want to help, you can check the show notes for more details, but I'll give you details now. Go to KeneCorder.com/prosperity-club to join. You'll get added into our mailing list and we'll let you know exactly how we reach our goal. Our goal is $10,000. That's what we'd like to give Allstate Foundation's Purple Purse. Your membership will help us get there. The more we give, the more we can help. So get your membership today. Go to KeneCorder.com/prosperity-club to join. Check the show notes for more details. Find me on Instagram at KeneCorder.com Instagram if you want to share your story or direct message me. You can also share your story right in the comments on our webpage associated with this podcast episode. I'd love to hear from you. Maybe you have a story with a happy ending. Maybe you have a story with not so happy ending. Either way, tell your story. Don't be ashamed. And if you know somebody that needs to get out, tell them about Allstate Foundation's Purple Purse, and they can give them resources to help them. So that's all for today. I want you to stay for our 5-minute activation. Really, I'm so glad we had this time together. I did not expect to do this today. Normally I interview, you know that, and I enjoy doing that, but I found this was on my heart, so I wanted to share it, and I hope that somebody out there can benefit from it. If that's you, thank you for letting me be a part of your journey. It's not over. This is your middle. Go now. In honor of Domestic Violence Awareness Month, a portion of every Prosperity Club purchase will go to Allstate Foundation's Purple Purse. Our goal is to raise $10,000 and donate it to Allstate Foundation to assist domestic abuse survivors in becoming more financially aware. Did you know that 99% of all domestic abuse cases include financial abuse? And also that over 3 million children witness domestic abuse? I want to do something to help. And I'm wondering if you join me. There are 4 ways you can get involved. 1, you can shop our apparel line. $5 of every Prosperity Club tee is going to go to Allstate Foundation's Purple Purse. Let's say you buy 4 tees. $20 goes to domestic abuse survivors. All you have to do is go to KeneCorder.com/shop and make your purchase. 2, you can join Prosperity Club, or you can gift a Prosperity Club membership to a couple you love. And again, $5 of every Prosperity Club membership will go to Allstate Foundation's Purple Purse. All you have to do is go to KeneCorder.com/Allstate. Number 3, if you decide you want one-on-one coaching and you get a consultation with me, $20 of every consultation is going to go to Purple Purse. Here's what you do to schedule your consultation. You go to KeneCorder.com/consultation. And here's the last way you can help. On January 7, we are launching our Prosperous Couple Program. $100 of every Prosperous Couple Program is going to go to Allstate Foundation's Purple Purse. You can buy your Prosperity Club tee. You can join the Prosperity Club membership, or you can get your consultation. Whatever you do, you'll be the first to know when Prosperous Couple Program starts. And here's a bonus. Another way you can help. I'll give 10% of my speaking fee to Allstate Foundation. So if you'd like me to speak at one of your upcoming events, just send an email to VIP@KeneCorder.com. That's VIP like very important person at KeneCorder.com with the subject line speak, and tell me your needs, and you'll receive an email back with my availability and fee schedule. All of this will be in the show notes, so don't worry. Just check it out, and you can decide how you want to collaborate with us to serve a great cause. We appreciate your generosity, however you serve. We are thankful. We're thankful that you listen to the Prosperity Report. We're thankful that you've become a part of the Prosperity Club in whatever way you have. And we're thankful that you're joining with us to end domestic abuse and financial abuse. We'll keep you informed as to how much we raise and next steps for continuing to help. Thank you so much for joining with us. It's time for 5-minute activation, a quick financial therapy session to get you activated and on your way to increasing the love and money in your marriage. So can I get 5 minutes of your time just 5 minutes for a financial therapy activation. Today's 5-minute activation is about the art of starting over. It's a fact. Life happens. And a lot of times we feel like life is happening to us, but really it's happening for us. It's happening to make us a little stronger. It's happening to give us the lesson that we want to learn in order to live our best lives. Now, maybe you're saying, I didn't ask for this. And it's easy to feel that life is beyond your control or that your dreams are outside of your reach. But they're not. They may take more effort than you thought, but you can do it. Occasionally, bad decisions and bad luck can put you in a place where you wish you could just start over. And maybe for you, it's not occasionally. Maybe it feels like it's all the time. Well, the first step in starting over is the hardest step, but you can make it. In my book, The Art of Starting Over, I talk about how you can look at your life from a variety of angles to discover what's missing, to discover the meaning. Often we're looking for reasons, and there are many reasons, way too many to narrow down to really figure out what the reason any one thing has happened to you. Using the life lessons and exercises in my book, The Art of Starting Over, you can learn how to plan and take steps to create the life you desire rather than letting life just happen to you. Whether you're starting over because it's your choice or you're starting over because you're forced to, circumstances beyond your control, this guide can take you down the path, helping you enjoy the journey and better understand the process. So if you happen to have to start over again, you could do it again and again, and you could find the art in it. But first, you have to understand what truly brings you happiness. And we've talked about that in other 5-minute activations. And you'll find it in my book, The Art of Starting Over, as well. What's important to you may not be important to somebody else, or vice versa. So don't concern yourself with discussing this with other people. You can, but don't necessarily expect them to agree with you. Allow them to feel what they're feeling and be unapologetic for what you're feeling. You can't rely on what others say to determine what's right for you. Society will tell you that you want the marriage and the house and the dog and the kids. Maybe you do, maybe you don't. Maybe your marriage looks totally different than that. Maybe you travel in an RV. Maybe you live in a tent. Maybe you have a mansion, but no kids. Whatever you want for your life, you can get. Be proud of your idea of prosperity. And if there has been someone who has stood in your way, decide today to go around them. You can achieve it when you believe it. Believe in your heart that even though things haven't worked out for you exactly the way you wanted to in the past, that your future can be yours, the life you desire, your true heart's desire, not what society tells you is right, not what someone else tells you what's right, but what you know in your gut is right for you. You may need a little guidance, some accountability, and some activation. Get it. Go get it wherever you need to, whether it's in the Prosperity Club, a church, an organization, a support group, a family, a group of friends. Get the support you need so that you can shift your life and really experience the art of starting over. Even if you're just starting a small part of your life over, you don't have to start the whole thing over. And remember, life is not about keeping up with the Joneses, spending all the money you make, or impressing others. It's about discovering what truly brings you happiness, what's important to you, and attracting that into your life. So go do that, starting today. Start your life over by first starting your mindset over. It's your life. Live it. And that's our 5-minute activation for today. Hey guys, thanks for listening. If you want more love and money conversations, subscribe to this podcast. Also, tell your friends about us. I'll see you next episode. But in the meantime, head on over to KeneCorder.com for more tips, tools, and resources. And go ahead and leave us a comment if you like. We'd love to hear from you. This show is not to replace professional counsel. The best advice comes from a professional you know. The topics discussed in this podcast are general in nature and are for entertainment and informational purposes only. We encourage you to meet with a professional to discuss your specific situation, whether financial or therapeutic. That's all for now. I'll see you sooner. Remember, no matter what anybody ever tells you, you can have wealth in all of its forms. Believe it, and you will soon see it.